Hello again, Knights Nation. Rocco Geppi here for the Kingdom Podcast. And today I'm joined by head women's soccer coach, Steve King. Steve, thanks for joining me.
Thanks for having me, Rock.
Absolutely, my pleasure. We are here to talk women's soccer, the season preview. We're kicking off very soon. And Steve, it's a little bit of a different transition this year, both from a play standpoint and everything. You enter your first season here at the helm of the women's team. So first of all, congratulations. Glad to have you here on a full-time basis with the team.
Thank you very much. Glad to be here. It's going to be a great opportunity. I'm excited for the season to get started.
We are as well. Let's start by getting to know you a little bit better. If folks want additional information, they can head to the website and click on your bio. But tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, and what you're going to be bringing to the Kingdom.
Okay, so I'm a local product. Grew up not too far from the campus over there. Played all my soccer in the Baltimore area. Played at Archbishop Curley High School growing up, and played my club ball for the Casamia Bays, where I was lucky enough to be on a team that won a couple national championships, and I was awarded the Golden Glove in those years. After high school, went on to play at UMBC for former coach Pete Caringi of the Knights. Had a good, successful career there. From there, went on and coached a season as an undergrad assistant at UMBC, and kind of figured out then that even if playing wasn't going to be the next step for me, that I still wanted to be involved and stay around the game. Kind of backed my way into the coaching job at Hopkins. I started at Hopkins in August of 2010 as the goalkeeper coach. Was the goalkeeper coach for about 4 or 5 years. Once our first assistant left and moved on, I was promoted up into that position starting in 2016. Had a lot of success at that program. Was able to go to the Elite Eight multiple times, the Final Four a couple of times. So certainly have done well. Have surrounded myself. Have been fortunate enough to play for good teams, play with good teams, play for good coaches. Most importantly, learn from great coaches. I think I've been affiliated with 4 or 5 Hall of Fame coaches, whether it was at School Hall of Fame, Maryland Soccer Hall of Fame. So I feel like I bring in a different perspective, different type of experience. Been playing since I was a little kid, so I don't play as much anymore, but just being around the game, I feel like I offer a different perspective. And, I've been successful and I've won wherever I've been, whether that was a big part of my doing or just who I was surrounded with and the teams that I was involved with. The coaching, like I mentioned, I've always been lucky enough, for lack of a better term, to have good quality coaches. And I feel like that really helped get me to where I am today. Mm-hmm. So I think the biggest thing that I think I can bring to Essex is just that record of success. And, it's already a great program. Essex athletics in themselves have a great tradition. The last few years, the women's soccer team has had a lot of success going on to nationals. So hopefully with what I bring to the table, I can help us take that next step.
Excellent. Now, you joined the team last year as a recruiting coordinator, and then you were named head coach in June. Tell us a little bit about what it was like in that transition between you and previous head coach Joe Fiedler, the staff, and the student athletes.
It was a little different. Like you mentioned, I think everything over the last year and a half with COVID has been a bit of a struggle, and everybody's been learning on the fly and kind of winging it. So when I came on board, when it was decided that I was going to come on board, the spring season, was just about to get going, get underway. And I didn't want to be a distraction to Coach Fiedler, knowing that it was his last run with the team. And he had a great year in 2019 and wanted to go out on top. So I tried to stay away from the on the field stuff as much as I could, just to give him that extra space. And, you don't want somebody over your shoulder judging everything that you're doing. And the fact that I was going to be coming in, I just didn't really want to be a distraction to him, to the girls. I wanted them to, finish out the way that he wanted to finish out. And they ultimately ended up having a very successful season. The biggest thing that I was able to gain from the transition was getting to know Emily Vetri, who is my current assistant coach, was the current assistant coach, also played at Essex. And I think she's a tremendous resource for the girls, especially with it being such a short turnaround from the spring season to the fall season. Mm-hmm. You know, she has history. She's comfortable with and familiar with some of the returning players and just overall the program as a whole. So it certainly wasn't an ideal situation with the transition. If this was a normal year where they played in the fall, you know, the coaching change happens in November, December, I would get a full spring season before the fall season. I think that would have been, you know, ideal and preferred. But like we mentioned, everything kind of just is on the fly. And so overall, I think the transition went as smoothly as it probably could have. Again, certainly some things that in a different situation would have been easier to kind of move forward with. But I think so far we've made the best of the situation. Again, I think with the short summer, 2-month break, the team has done well. They came in prepared when we started preseason last week. So I'm happy with where we're at. Again, our biggest issue right now is just the depth, right? I think talent-wise, we're as talented as almost any team in the country. And I'll take our team versus anybody. But unfortunately, the stuff that you can't foresee, the injuries, COVID still being an issue, you know, if we run into a situation where we lose a couple of players, then, you know, we could be in a little bit of trouble. So certainly still stuff for us to work on and improve both behind the scenes and on the field as we get going here. But overall, for where I expected to be, where I thought we could be at this point, I'm pretty happy.
So let's tell me a little bit more about the team specifically. Talk about the student athletes, who's returning, who's new, where the impacts are going to be made on the field, and from whom.
So we have a handful of returning players, led by our All-American Kara Dietrich, who, you know, the last 2 seasons has either led in goals or points in the nation. So just having her back, having that steady presence up top, somebody who, you know, that regardless of how the game flow is going, all she needs is one chance and put us in the game, get us back in the game, put us on top. But more so than her talent, it's just the composure and the leadership. She brings that experience with her for the first years who are coming in. And I think that everybody coming in knew who she was. So everybody had a little bit of a, oh my gosh, there's Kara. That's our best player. She's All-American. But she's done a great job of welcoming the new group in and making everybody feel included. Offensively, returning with her is Zeta Holloway, who a very good player, very technical player, scored some big goals last year. I believe had the game-winning goal against Howard in the district final. So thrilled that she's coming back. We'll have 2 returning center midfielders, Sam Dorr, Sam Hosier. Dorr, very skilled on the ball, great vision. I see her linking up with Kara and Zeta 20 times minimum on the season, but I expect good things from her. Hosier is going to be more of a sitting midfielder, wins tackles, distributes the ball, gets stuck in, kind of a bulldog type mentality. Very excited to have her coming back as well. Defensively, we lost a bit. So we'll have a few new faces back there. Aya Neal is a transfer in from Charleston Southern. Aya has a great pedigree, played locally at Perry Hall, then played for Premier Soccer Club and won a national championship at the club level. Didn't have the opportunity to show herself at the Division I level, with sitting out in the fall with COVID and then transferring in the spring. But is somebody who immediately, as soon as she steps on the field, is a presence, right? She's going to be that vocal leader, right? She's going to lead by example as the center back, but just having her back there automatically gives us the stability in the back. So I'm extremely excited that we were able to add her. In addition to Aya, we added a couple of Sparrows Point players. Sparrows Point girls soccer wins every year. Centrally joining Aya would be Abby Meadows, who again, good center back, reads the game very well. I expect those two to have a great partnership in the middle and the back. Also from Spears Point is Kylie Stolbitz, who will be playing out wide in an attacking role. Athletic, full of energy, is going to put the effort in. It's going to work very hard, and it has done so up to this point through preseason. Very happy with what I've seen there. Additionally, Kenzie Hunt is coming from Patapsco, where she scored close to 20 goals this spring. So, in a 7-game season, to be able to score that many and add the assists, add the points. I have high expectations with her that she'll fit right in with Sam Dorr in that center of the midfield and be a great linchpin to Zeta and Kara up top. Have Danny Lassan, who's coming from Kenwood, who I have very high expectations of. Is a very good player, very skilled on the ball, plays out wide, reads the game very well. Is another very athletic type body, likes to get forward from the defensive position. So I think she's somebody who is going to cause a lot of mismatches, create a lot of mismatches for opposing teams. But she's somebody who I think is going to be very important to our success. In the goal, we'll have Sydney Baker coming from Celtic and Glenn Burney, who's been stable and solid for us so far. So I think from top to bottom, again, we're a little light with our numbers, but our talent is top notch. With what we have right now, without adding any additional pieces, I think we should compete for the districts and regionals again.
2 straight trips to the national tournament. Using that in addition to returners like Kara and Zeta, Sam Dorr, Hosier, how do those things help you and your staff keep and get this team motivated to see the bigger picture?
I think the ones who are returning are already motivated because they've been there, Kara twice, and they haven't had the success at the national level that you want. I mean, anytime you get to a national tournament, you want to win. You want to be able to call yourself a national champion and say you're the best in the country. So I don't think that they'll need the motivation to get back just because they were so close already and saw the level that the other teams that played at, saw the way that the programs were run. They kind of are familiar with what has to be done physically on the field, off the field, coming in to get us back to that level. And that's where I'm going to rely on those second-year players to kind of lead and bring the first years on, when we're training, when we're at a game. Again, not going through the motions and just having more of a professional attitude that when we go on the field, we're here to do a job. We're here to win. You're not going to play every game as well as you can, right? So finding ways to fight through adversity, and ultimately finding ways to get the win. I think that our region is solid, it's strong, but again, there's no reason for us to not get back to that level if things go the way that they should.
Very good. Well, before I let you go, anything that you want to add about yourself, this team, this season, that we didn't get a chance to discuss here?
Just overall, I'm excited to be here. Again, I'm a local guy, so I grew up 5 minutes from the Essex campus. So when I had the opportunity to take the job, it kind of resonated a little bit more because I've always grown up. Oh, there's Essex, going to Coach Caringi's summer camps when I was a little kid and all those sorts of things. So it was nice to get into that, into the school in that sense. The support from the administration has been fantastic. I've loved working with Greg so far, and haven't always had that support at past places. So to know that anything that I need to go to him for, he's going to do whatever he can to get for me. He's always going to put the support. He's always going to have the needs of the girls placed first. So I'm very, very fortunate. I think Essex as a whole is very fortunate to have him at the helm, and I'm excited to get to work with him more. And again, I'm excited for the possibilities, for the potential that the team has. It's not going to be an easy season, especially if things stay the way that they are currently with the numbers. But seeing the talent that we have, and seeing what we can be, kind of makes anything that is a little bit of a headache worth it, because I know that in the long run we can be there and potentially win a national championship.
Gotcha. Excellent. Well, Steve, thanks for taking the time out of your day. Really appreciate it. And giving folks a little bit of an in-depth look at the team. Folks, coming up, the season opener is at home, August 26th against Potomac State. Kickoff scheduled for 4 p.m. And make sure you follow this women's team on social media. They're on Twitter and Instagram at Knights_W Soccer. You can follow athletics on the same two social media sites at CCBC Essex Sports. Make sure you follow us on YouTube and subscribe to that channel, youtube.com/CCBC Essex Knights. That's where you're going to find all the home live games, highlights, and much more. And keep an eye out, news and notes at ccbcessexknights.com. And sometime in the next few weeks, we're going to be releasing a brand new designed website. Really excited about that. The unveiling coming within the next few weeks with a new, more modern look. Thank you for watching this episode of the Kingdom Podcast. Again, for my guest, head women's soccer coach, Steve King, I'm Rocco Geppi. We'll see you next time. So long.